Views of this particular program and its host. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast does not reflect or represent the views of WTMP, its officers, staff, or advisors.
Listen to the Call for Help show with attorney Paul Rebein every Saturday morning at right here on WTMP. And if you need a personal injury attorney, call the Rebein Brothers PA at 813-305-7285. 813-305-7285.
Good morning and welcome to the Call for Help show. I'm your host, attorney Paul Rebein. With me, as usual, in the studio are my co-hosts, Robin Lockett and Pastor Brenda Fruster. How are you guys today?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Happy Easter or Easter Eve.
Happy Easter Eve.
Yeah. What do they call this day?
Well, it's the day in between Good Friday, the day that Christ was crucified, and the day is between the day that he resurrected. So we don't really it's called in between.
It's not Holy Saturday, they call it?
Well, it can be Holy Saturday because it's Holy Friday and Holy Sunday. So why not have Holy Saturday?
Yes. You guys have big plans for tomorrow?
Well, no big plans, just a time and a day of celebration. You know, we have our worship service and just looking forward to the fellowship of the saints for that joyous occasion on tomorrow.
How about you, Robin? You cooking?
Oh, heck no.
You going to get your plate somewhere?
Yes. Paul, you cooking?
Yes. Yeah, we're cooking.
So if people don't know, I will drop by and get a plate in a minute. I dropped by. When was that, Paul? On Christmas? Thanksgiving. Dropped by Paul's house, got a plate.
That's
it's
right.
It's just me. So why? And I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful. No, I hopefully my mom is not listening to this with my sister, but I'm gonna surprise her and go to church with her. I'm gonna go to my 8:00 service tomorrow, and then pop up at my mom's church and attend church with her.
You just spoiled the surprise.
I know, right?
Because she's listening.
If she's in the car with my sister going somewhere.
Yeah, she's listening.
Well, that's a good surprise. You need to go to church twice. You know,
I could take that a couple ways, but
he said twice.
I know, right?
What's the other occasion? Christmas?
No, twice in one day for Easter.
Oh, twice.
Give us a call if you'd like to join us. 888-247-8712. Happy Easter, everyone.
So you know what I found interesting? Yesterday I attended. We're just reopening with Bible Base, and that's Bible Base at Temple Terrace. And we had the I think the week before was our first. No, 2 weeks ago was our first time. So, but we had these 7 words. Ceremony.
7 last words.
7 last words.
Okay, so, what were they?
It is. No, that's more. That's 3. What's the 7 last words, Doctor?
I don't know. You gotta tell me.
I know 3 of them is it is finished. I don't know, but I guess we had 7 people to speak about those words and just give an example of it. And to be honest, I never paid attention when I would hear on the radio that different churches were doing this, but it was so interesting. Just to hear the different scriptures that were given for those 7 last words. Yes. And so it was good. I'm glad that I attended. But it was going on throughout Hillsborough County with different churches. So I'm glad that I attended.
Amen. You're always learning something during these times. It's an exciting time. Literally, it really is. We're living in a very exciting time. And it is always interesting to attend services where those things are highlighted. I hear them all the time.
Yeah.
I hear the teaching all the time, but it doesn't mean that it's stagnant. I get excited when it's brought forth because it brings revelation every time. So I'm grateful to hear, Lady Robin, that you attended that service, that your church had it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. And you know
I'm
what I would like to say? I'm sorry, Paul.
I was trying to look it up. Was it I am thirsty?
Oh, so
If
no,
somebody
because
else-
he wasn't there, because they talked about that too. I didn't know they gave they put, when they said vinegar, I said they had vinegar back then. So I didn't know that they put vinegar on a sponge, and that's what and it was explained that they did that with hippus.
it's
Hyssop, hyssop,
hyssop.
And that,
HYSSOP.
right.
That's what your mom hit you with, the hyssop branch. I'm trying to count him up, because if he said, I am thirsty, it is finished, that's 6.
Maybe there's an in there somewhere. I don't know.
If somebody out there knows this, that actually knows, please give us a call.
Yeah, because they did speak about that. I am thirsty, and
There are 7 words. I just can't think of it, but there are 7. So if Sharon, Elder Sharon Newsom is listening, she'll put it in the chat.
Okay. I'm expecting people to give us this information, but I like I'm thirsty. I mean, I might say that.
But did Jesus say he was thirsty?
Yeah, I'm thirsty. That's why they gave him the vinegar.
Oh, and then he wouldn't take it. I guess again, he wouldn't take it the second time or something like that.
That I don't know if he took it or not.
Yeah, it was interesting to see to see those words broken down, and because I learned something. I didn't learn, because when they said vinegar, I didn't know they had vinegar. I was like, they had vinegar back then? I'm sorry?
You didn't know that about the vinegar?
No. I thought it was a sponge, I'm thinking in terms. So listen, so I'm very, very transparent. I'm still learning. I am still learning.
Well, we're going to learn today. Somebody's going to actually tell us what these words are. Please call us 888-247-8712. Tell us what the last words were. What? Somebody trying to...
D. Wilkins said Pastor Mason gave all 7 on Wednesday night Bible study.
Okay.
So
well,
what was it?
What were they, D? D heard them. Robin heard them. Nobody seems to know what they are.
Sorry, I went out. But what did D say? Did D put it in there?
D said she heard them Wednesday night, but she's not saying what they are. Everybody's scrambling to look them up. Robin is frozen on our screen here. Robin, are you still there? If you happen to know these words, give us a call, 888-247-8712. We know at least some of them, but I've heard of that too, that service. And, Easter is always a special time.
Absolutely.
Get together with family, go to church, that kind of thing. It's one of my favorite holidays. Did you say it was your favorite holiday when we were going through our holidays, Pastor Brenda? Hold on.
I did. I said Easter was one, along with Christmas, because Christmas is the birth, and Easter is about the death, the burial, and the resurrection. And so, as I said earlier this morning, it's, if we not make it about a promotion, if we really don't make it about the bunny, the Easter egg, but really make it about what it really represents, then people will be so astounded, as Robin shared about her, what she learned, the revelation that comes forth just by sitting in a service and not being preached at, but being taught, so people will understand what Easter is really about.
Hold that thought. We have a caller. Welcome to the Call for Help show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, this is Margaret, and I'm gonna change the subject because last week y'all said y'all were gonna follow up with the racism thing, so I had my answer.
Okay, we're ready.
It's still Resurrection Weekend all weekend long, so you go ahead, sister girl.
Yes.
Paul, last week you were trying to figure out who said that or where you got that from. I don't know if you were looking for a certain person to give you the definition, but on the paper that I text to Robin, I had different things on there, but racism, racist, prejudice, racial prejudice, colonialism, Antifa, critical race theory. Okay. Now, if you will check Wikipedia, that's where I got a lot of my information, along with my life experience, knowledge, and observation of things. Yep. So that's where I got my information from. Also, is Malcolm there?
Malcolm is missing in action today. We don't know where he is. I hope he didn't.
I'm going to answer in case. I'm going to answer his in case he's listening. Okay. Because when someone brought up the fact about Black people murdering other Black people, he said, "Now that's racism." No, it's not. So therefore, I hope if he's listening, you can tell him that that murder against murder is a result. Black people murdering each other is a result of sinful behaviors such as self-hate, hating each other, and criminal involvement. They are not doing that because of racism. That has nothing to do with that, because if they don't own corporations and where they can discriminate against people and do all of these other institutionalized racism things, that has nothing to do with that. It's bad, but it has nothing to do with racism.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marguerite.
Thank you, Marguerite.
Getting us back on track too, because we were going to talk about that. It's funny that she should mention that, because we were talking earlier this week, the guy that shot the people in the subway in Brooklyn was African American, and he had some YouTube videos that actually sort of railing against Black people. And I posed a question to Robin when we were talking, well, is that guy racist? Can he be racist? And she said, what was your answer, Robin?
It was lively. So I'll tone it down. No, I mean, so racism is against another race. You can't be racist. You can't show racism for your own kind. It's against another race. And what Marguerite said is very important, right? We talk about Black on Black crime, but again, so that's the end result. But what system are they affected by to cause that? Economic system, with housing, employment, and so forth, right? Some of it is that, people get in an argument, they pull up and they kill one another. But there's a system intact that really hurts communities, our community. But to answer your question, Paul, I said no. Some people just crazy.
Well, Marguerite, Lady Marguerite also said something, I think that I heard her say this word sin. There's also a sin system that is in full operation in all races. Yeah. But when we look at the crime that is happening, especially in our Black community, sin is running rampant. I mean, it's taken the minds of from a child to the oldest. I mean, to 90 something years old, you're still molesting people. You're still killing people, and you cannot put that on poverty. You can't put that on a lack of jobs. You can't put that on the fact that we don't have education. It is sin. Sin is sin, and sin is a system that is in operation. So when we talk about, Black on Black crime and this, that, and the other, across the board, it's sin. Yeah. Killing is sin. Racism, that's sin. That's sin.
Good point, Pastor. I wanted to break down again. We talked a lot about institutional racism last time. But I wanted to try to focus in on individual racism, what it is. Just to get back to the definition that I threw out there last time from the Webster Dictionary. Racism is the belief, number one, so it's a belief, is like something that someone believes, either consciously or unconsciously, that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities just based on their race, that makes them either inferior or superior to another race. So do you guys, on an individual level, would you agree with that definition?
If that person has some sort of power. I'm Black. I am proud to be Black. I'm not going to diminish who I am to anybody. So does that make me be superior? Yeah, in how I handle myself, how I carry myself. I'm not going to dummy myself down for any race. But,
but
if I use,
do you think that that's because of your race, or just because of who you are? I think that's the point. Hold on, and we got another call here. Caller, welcome to the Call for Help show.
Good morning, attorney, and to your guests and to your audience. This is Reverend Willie G. Dixon, the Coach Foundation.
Hey, Reverend Dixon, how are you?
And I just want your listeners to know that next week I'll be on your show. We're going to talk about plea bargains. Is it legal or illegal? And I would have that advertised also in the news that all of those who have been convicted of a crime and cannot pay their fines and fees to call in with their questions, but we would have the answers.
Okay.
Also, I want to mention this. I'm listening at your subject about tomorrow, which is y'all call Resurrection Sunday. Last Wednesday, I had a chance to go to Zelva Hills Correctional Institution, and I gave the history of Easter. And I asked the question, and I asked you, have you ever seen a rabbit lay an egg? It's all about the money. And so we need to let people know they need to resurrect their minds, their bodies, and their spirits in order to do the work that we all are called to do. But next week I'll be on. I'll have answers to many questions. And I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Dixon. Have you ever seen a rabbit lay an egg?
So his point is well taken. So instead of calling it Easter Sunday, it should be called Resurrection Sunday, because that's a celebration. So Easter is commercialized. So
what does Easter even mean? What does that word mean? Does anybody know?
Money.
Yes, I know what it means.
Oh, you still on the phone?
Easter comes from I'm still on the phone. Easter comes from it was a goddess called a goddess. It was a fertile goddess, and it was a pagan. See, it was a pagan religion, and we got to remember when Constantine became a Christian, he was a pagan. He brought all of those pagan religions into Christianity. This is why we're so messed up today. But all you have to do is go to Google. And as I tell the man that helped me, anytime I want to know something, I go to Google. Okay. The research has already been done.
Okay.
So we should get rid of see, it's all about the money, clothes. This it's nothing wrong with making money, but tell the truth when you make the money.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll definitely see you next week, Reverend Dixon.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, these holidays are commercialized. But on the other hand, the kids enjoy the Easter basket and getting candy and stuff like that.
So I think with that, it goes hand in hand, right? So, yeah, you make it fun for the kids, because I remember when we would go to mosquito-driven Sebring, Florida for Easter in the small little white church, the Soda City in the woods. But, we went to church. We learned about the resurrection of Christ. But then we also had Easter baskets and so forth. So I think you could do both, but and not just one. Just really provide the information for the kids.
Yes.
The real meaning. The real meaning.
Pastor, you do the Easter baskets?
No, sir, I don't. I don't do the Easter baskets, the Easter bunny. I don't do any of those things. However, I would like to say Easter is how people commercialize Christmas. They make
Correct.
Christmas for children all about Santa Claus, and without knowledge, we don't. And I appreciate Reverend Dixon. I don't Google stuff like that. I go straight to the Word. It's not in the Word, then it's not something that's going to come out of my mouth. It's not something that I'm going to practice. However, I will say this two things, and I'll pitch it back to you. I will gather, and I have gathered some things for my grandchildren, even for my children, and I would make them little baskets. But it's not before I tell them what Easter or Christmas is all about. Number one. Number two, when we wear a new outfit, when we go and buy a new outfit, it's really tied in. If we keep it with the right mind, it's tied in with he got up in a new life. So people will wear new clothing, or because Jesus shedded the old garment, and when he got up, he took off the old garment and put on new garment. So it really has a lot to do with the person that is seeking the appropriate information, or the right word, if you would. It is, we can get so confused, and we are a world that is so confused when it comes to biblical principles. But I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it real, and some stuff I don't agree with. But if that's that's their wishes, hey, I just tell them the truth and then leave it there.
That's good, Pastor Fruster, that you said that, right? Because connecting, right? He rose again and he's anew, right? And
Yes.
we dress up. So that's a good connection to that. I think it's important, even with Christmas and Easter, that, we can celebrate, we can buy the gifts, but then the truth, the meaning behind it is amplified.
Yes. Where did those gifts come from?
Correct.
The gifts came at his birth. And so in celebration, this is how and why we exchange gifts.
Yeah.
But of course, I think that could be at another call for help time. But yes, it's all in how an individual take that kind of teaching to heart.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Well, we've had some comments on our Facebook page. We're kind of jumping back and forth between two topics here. But let me just throw out some comments about our discussion about racism. Dee said racism is such a horrible word and feeling no matter who you are. Becky said sometimes marginalized racial groups turn oppression inward, which can result in hating their own group. What do you think about that comment? I'm trying to get my head around it.
Hatred is so seared in people's mind. So let me say this. So I'm Columbia, South Carolina, and Columbia, South Carolina, or South Carolina, was your one of your main states for KKK. And we are 2022, but let me tell you that KKK stuff is still going on in some of your way country cities, and they have taught their children. They've seared it in their minds, and so you can change you can change your world, but you can't change a city. I mean, we're in a different generation. We're in a different time frame, and you are still raising the little ones to hate another race, to think that you are superior over another race, to think that we are still slaves, that's racism. That's you need to check yourself or you wreck yourself.
With I guess I'm looking at Becky's response. Sometimes marginalized racial groups turn oppression. So oppression is caused by what? The system.
Yes.
Right.
Hold that thought, Robin. We got another call. Caller, welcome to the Call for Help show.
Yes, this is Margaret again. The one who sent in saying that racism is a bad word, this and other. Racism is a result of racism. The action is what's bad, not the word. We have a lot of words, but the action is what makes that word alive. So when we try to marginalize or either dismiss it, then we can't deal with it. So we need to call it what it is. It's racism, and just deal with what causes it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, when we talk about like the KKK, people in the KKK, I kind of like, I think they don't have a lot going for them, and like the people, somebody who would join that group, that the reason that they like that is that the one thing that somebody can't change about themselves is their race, and so by joining that group, they get to feel superior, no matter how much of a loser they are in the rest of their lives. At least you know, they belong to this racial group that they view as somehow superior. Does that make sense?
Well, the KKK no longer is in the small towns may still ride around with the cloaks and so forth, the white sheets, but they're in the system. So
yes,
yeah, KKK is the people that have that, and KKK is the symbol. But if you have people that may not have joined that group, but believe everything that group stands for. They are our judges now. They are our sheriffs now. They are our mayors now. They are, so you don't have to have a cloak to do that.
Exactly.
These people are already in the system.
Because we have QAnon, we have the white supremacists. So no, they're not riding the horses. No, they're not wearing the hood. They are open, but we still don't know. They're hiding behind something.
Correct.
Even though they don't have a mask or hood, but they're hiding behind something. And yes, they are in positions so very high, and yet we are not able to discern them all. But we know that they are there based on one of the reasons, based on the way they make decisions. And that's why when it comes to voting, we cannot vote on a person just because they sound profound or they sound like they know something. Do your history, do your check, know who you are voting for, so that you don't vote these people into offices. Just gonna say Marjorie Green. I'm looking at this lady and I'm like, what's your problem? You have a problem, and your problem is racism. Your problem is Marjorie Green. You want to get in a position, and then when you get in that position, then you're going to spew out what is really in your heart. So we have to be careful of those kinds of voting rights, of voting.
And on that note, unfortunately, our time once again has come to an end. Already? Wow, that was good. All right. Thank you all, everybody who participated today. And again, I'm wishing Robin, Brenda, and everybody out there listening, happy Easter.
Happy Resurrection.
Oh, yeah. Happy Resurrection Sunday. We'll see you next week.